Hello and welcome to the finals of Grand Prix Atlanta. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Ben Seck, and we are just underway here. Alex Lloyd versus Ben Stark, and you and I were just chatting. Ben, we feel like Alex has the advantage here.
Though with the draw that Ben has started with, this is
bang
going pretty well. It's about basically the two cards that he wants. He wants a 1-drop that gets better with maybe some burn spells, and then Kari Zev, which actually hits really hard.
Yeah, I think he would probably substitute in a Bomat Courier for the Soulscar Mage if given the choice, but we won't find him complaining. As Ben, if he has the right draw, this is the perfect aggro curve for Ben Stark. Let's see if he gets opted here. So that is not a censor, and that means that Ben Stark has already put 7 power on the battlefield. And I don't think Alex is at 20. So this is a very good start for Stark and the exact type of thing that he needs to steal a win here in game number 1 from Alex Lloyd.
Right. Alex is only going to be in 3 land this next turn, so can't really play Survey the Wreckage. It seems like he probably does not have a Fatal Push in hand because he probably would have cast it on the cards of the previous turn. So
yeah, Settle the Wreckage will come in next turn as a major concern point for Ben, but for now it's green light time, and boom, he gets in for the full 7. That's going to drop Alex down to 8. Yeah,
and actually...
it might be more. Ben says, before damage, actually, I'm just going to Lightning Strike your face and add another 4 to that.
I really like that play because he knows that next turn he may not get the opportunity because Settle the Wreckage will be online. And actually, I've just seen that Alex has it, so I think he might be trying to get the land because I see that he has a cycling coming to play tap land, which is not great.
Well, and Ben will know that Censor was the card that Alex just drew because he certainly would have countered the Rampaging Ferocidon if he had it last turn.
Nope.
Wow, and that's game number 1 going to Ben Stark, picking up the turn 5 win just clean.
Yeah, that was really, really good. I mean, Alex stumbled a little bit, didn't really have any of his pinpoint removal. He had a tap land on turn 4, so Settle the Wreckage was just not an issue. Alex knew that he was just basically dead. And Ben getting a really, really important one because game 1 is where he has the most dead cards, and so he just drew every good card.
Okay, so now we were talking about cards like Sand Strangler in the main deck, Magma Spray, these cards that just don't do much against Alex Lloyd. What can he bring in to help shore up the matchup, taking a look at his sideboard here?
Yeah, I think he's got Glorybringer that he'll bring in, mainly because it's just a haste threat, and so if there's like a Fumigate, he can
or a settle,
he can come after that and basically put the pressure on still. There's another Rampaging Ferocidon. It's just an efficient threat. It has the slight side effect of if he does cast an approach with the Ferocidon out, he does not gain a life, which actually can help. So I think
it's a pretty major deal.
Yeah, and it definitely forces Alex to have to probably remove it because the 7 life is really important on the approach. Other cards that he's definitely bringing in another Chandra because I think that he wants to diversify his threats away from having a lot of creatures because there's a lot of...
Settle and Fumigate.
Yep, that's right. And Ben, because he only has 1 Hazoret in the main, has 2 Hazorets in sideboard, and I suspect they'll come in, but I'll suspect he will also be very careful how he attacks because Settle the Wreckage gets rid of it, cast outs can get rid of it, so he has to kind of play around some of those threats should he get to that stage.
But when you think about it, right, he's replacing dead cards with these. And even if these aren't really adding it, they're basically more of what he already has.
Right.
It's just they're going from a 0 to an 8, a 0 to a 6,
I mean, he has another Soulscar Mage in his sideboard. I think he'll probably bring that in.
Yes.
Just because he just wants to have more threats, basically have the same draw that he just showed us.
Yes, and give himself the best chance. Now, take a look at Alex Lloyd's sideboard here. Now, I have to say, his main deck is pretty well set up for the type of threats and the types of things that Ben Stark's going to throw at him. Can he improve it at all in the board?
Yeah, he has a couple cards that I definitely think he'll bring in. He has 2 Vraska's Contempt.
Okay.
I think, 1, they're pretty good against some of the 4-mana threats in Ben's deck.
Really?
Really, really good against them. Funnily enough, the way Vraska's Contempt actually interacts with Rampaging Ferocidon, if he's targeting the Ferocidon, he actually gains the life because the creature will die first, then he gains life. So actually, that will be pretty important too.
Okay.
He has a couple other cards that he wants to bring in. Definitely wants to bring in the 4 Regal Caracals. One, they provide a lot of blockers, which is really, really good. In the quarterfinal, he actually drew back-to-back Caracals that
right off the top of the library.
And he needed them both because it gave him enough blockers so that the Hazoret on
Trey's side
just couldn't get through. So really, really good. He has Scarab Gods. I don't think he should bring them in. I don't think that Ben's deck is a good Scarab God target. But I think he will bring in the two other Torrential Gearhulks. Alex only has one Gearhulk in the main deck. He brings in two. I think Ben will also presume that Alex will bring in two, but I don't think he'll keep his Abrades in. I think he'll just hope that 6 mana is too much to really cast and hope that he wins before that point.
Okay, well, this gets really interesting now because I guess that the matchup still favors Alex, but much less so than it did in game one. And Ben just came in and stole a game from him. Just bang.
Yeah, really, really important. It also means that he's going to have 2 games on the play if he should lose this one, and that's going to be vital because if he loses the first one, then he's got to at least win one breaking serve.
All right, looks like sideboarding has finished up for these two players. It's been a fun tournament thus far. I have to say, Standard's in a pretty good place. I understand that there's a lot of energy decks rolling around, and that's something that, I definitely got the vibe from the chat that they've seen about enough energy. But I at least like the fact that the energy deck is beatable. It's not oppressively strong. Also, there's a lot of different flavors of it, so it's not just the literal same 75 every single time. There has to be one best deck, and I'm pretty comfortable with energy being it, even if I can certainly understand where the chat's coming from with a little bit of we've seen enough, of one deck, but that kind of always happens.
It definitely does. I mean, energy probably it has a greater density than most people would like, but one of the good things about the energy decks is the matches are very, very interactive. There's a lot of ins and outs. It's no surprise that a player like Corey Baumeister, he's top-aided the previous 3 standard Grand Prix, top-aided again with energy. And Brad Nelson, his brother, also almost top-aided. The top 4, actually, was 4 decks that had archetypes that people knew, but actually had significant twists. Ben Stark, we've talked about, is a bit different, going a bit bigger. Alex is playing Esper instead of Blue-White or Jeskai. The vehicles deck that was in the semi-finals only had one Hazoret and didn't have any Bomat Couriers. So that's a really, really big difference. And 4 Glorybringers instead. And then the energy deck was a much heavier black deck. So really, there's a lot of small kind of important innovations that a lot of players actually did to their decks to get to this point.
Magic players and judges, I have a very special announcement. Please join me in congratulating the judge programs.
Okay, looks like we're underway here in game number 2. Ben did take a mulligan in there. That certainly did not stop him prior, though. Looks like they made a little announcement here in the room, though it was not related to our finals match. This is a best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And Ben Stark finds himself up 1 with Alex Lloyd really up against it, though this one seems to have gone much better for him as he's taking 3 from Lightning Strike, but there's no board presence for Ben.
Yeah, he wants the repeatable sets of damage, and he needs to get some of those. I'm pretty sure he'll have one.
Yeah, we could easily see... Oh, Censor here from Alex Lloyd, the perfect answer for that Rampaging Ferocidon. So things coming together nicely for Alex. He's at a healthy 16 life facing no board state.
Yep. He has all non-basic lands, so the Drowned Catacomb on Alex's side can play tapped. But he's not getting punished by that because Ben either doesn't have a 4th land or a second red. I think he just drew another mountain.
Well, there's a Hazoret the Fervent, but...
It looks like Alex is not countering it.
He's not going to counter. I think...
Oh, no,
he's just going to use a little bit more mana inefficient answer there.
Yep. I really like Alex's chances now. He's basically
he's looking great, isn't he?
Yeah, he got to the mid game with 16 life and really just well in control. So he actually has a.
Oh,
yeah.
This gets interesting, doesn't it?
I think he should have countered it.
I think so too. So I think that Ben is going to certainly pick up on the fact that Alex could have settled the wreckage. Now, Ben can't attack right now anyway. He's got too many cards in hand. But my guess is that I don't think Ben's going to attack with Hazoret this game.
No, I think he'll just wait until Alex taps a bit low. And Alex actually has Approach the Second Sun.
Well, he could fire it off here in exchange for 5 damage.
Yeah, but he should have probably countered it so he can do that now, and then he would actually not have that pressure.
Well, we'll see how this pans out, because Ben is going for another Haymaker here in the form of Chandra, and Alex certainly can't let that resolve too. Oh boy, there's a Torrential Gearhulk, and he's going to censor that.
Really, really good answer.
He says, shh. And Chandra gets countered there. And now he actually is just on the beatdown plan, and this could actually work out very well for Alex.
Yeah, I mean, Ben still has 4 cards in hand. The Hazoret's not under any threat of attacking him unless something
or
strange.
Blocking.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex might just kill Ben, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, one of the cute things that could happen is Ben could actually play a Bomat Courier and then just sack it to almost 1 with nothing in hand.
Sure.
If he really thinks that. But...
Well... The beatdown plan is in full effect here for Alex Lloyd, and it's looking very much like we're going to go to a game 3 here. Game 1, not close in Ben's favor, and honestly, this one has not been close either, but this one's in Alex Lloyd's favor, playing this cool Esper approach deck, and he's had every answer he needs and has now really turned the tables on Ben, has become the aggressor in the damage race. Oh, there's that Bowman.
I wonder if he's going to...
I mean, what's worst case scenario for Alex? You block my Regal Caracal, but you pitch your entire hand to do so?
It's probably not worth it.
Probably would trade that off.
And he...
another Regal Caracal.
One of the cool things it does is it actually gives the original Regal Caracal lifelink.
And +1/+1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ben has definitely seen enough.
And it's seen enough. So, wow, that was another quick game.
So this... I mean, I think we've taken a grand total of 7 minutes of actual play, probably less than that.
Boy.
So
GP finals, bang, bang. I guess we're just going to play one game because those were very quick.
I think we wouldn't have guessed that the Esper approach deck would have won in, less than 5 minutes.
I found out what the announcement was about, by the way. I couldn't actually hear it over our headphones. I just heard that they were announcing, and the chat was very disappointed in me for not having picked that up. But I did find out for you, and it's actually pretty exciting. There was a judge getting their level 3 certification, which is as high as you can go in the judge program now. That was Meg Baum. Congratulations to Meg for making it to level 3. That is a big accomplishment for our judges. And, anybody who's ever come to a big Magic tournament knows how integral the judges are to making these things work, not just from a rules perspective, but also, they help set everything up. They tell you where to go when you get lost. When you think about it the next time you're at a GP and you go, I'd really like to play a side event draft. You go, hey, Judge, where do I go to do that? You just ask them because they're so helpful. And that is awesome. So congratulations to Meg.
Congratulations to Meg. And also, without these judges, we don't have tournaments. They just don't exist.
Period.
And so, I really implore all of you, next time you play a tournament on your way out, please thank the judges that you see, because, I think they do a really great job, and they really make magic happen. And
it's also a hard job.
Oh, yeah. Really, really hard.
Most of the players are nice to them.
Yeah.
Some people are not nice to them. They're here on their own time. It's like, man,
And it's really, really a long weekend, especially the Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah.
You're on your feet the entire day. You're answering some really tricky things sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You see a lot of players who are a little bit there's nearly always a player who's not very happy about the judge call, and sometimes they get some of that flack as a side. So I really, really want everyone to value the judges they have in their community, Valiant Judges at new
I
tournament.
wish I could have one just for real life. Just like at home, like I'm like trying to make it to the train and I could just go, Judge, and then one would show up and tell me which train to get on, or how to find the cheap plane tickets, or just something. I don't know. What's the best recipe for macaroni and cheese? I just wish I had a judge for everything.
A macaroni judge?
I wish I had one. Looks like Ben is once again going to take a mulligan here.
Yeah. Though I think, as we said earlier, I think Ben is likely to take some pretty aggressive mulligans because he wants hands much more like his game 1 rather than the one he had in game 2.
Chat says I should just Google it. Well, guess what I do, guys? Until I get my life judge, I'm Googling it. All right, we're underway here. Ben has he's got a mountain. He's on the play. Alex Lloyd is just looking to slow him down and avoid one of those quick draws from Ben Stark. Is there a 2-drop for Ben? No, this is good news for Alex.
It's really rough for Ben, though.
2 tap lands in a row for Alex.
Yep.
And a lightning strike to the face means that Ben is using up his mana.
Yeah.
But he's going to need to follow that up with a 3. Nothing. And he had an opportunity to kind of avoid the censor, with the Rampaging Ferocidon. So even though Alex is at 16, it's not looking good for Ben. So Alex still has more tap lands. So that's another lightning strike to the face. So Alex's life total is falling quickly. He's already down to 13. And Ben is taking a very aggressive line with these burn spells. Is this a Hazoret? No. Is this going to resolve? He's going to need a negate or a...
Oh, that's actually really, really good because pretty much most of the ways that Alex has to get rid of it involve counter spells. The only other way... Cast out is pretty much the only other way. So there's Vraska's Contempt. He does have...
Vraska's Contempt and Cast Out. Okay.
Not that many of them.
And that's going to take an immediate answer, right?
Right.
I mean, he can't even pass the turn back to Ben.
Yeah. No Settle the Wreckage is going to be important here, and it looks like Alex just drew
what was it?
A Fatal Push, which does not do anything to this Chandra.
No, and not very good against the draw that Ben's had. So this is a critical moment. Does Alex have a way? And in fact, it now must be Cast Out. He does not have double black available. No, he's just passed the turn back to Ben.
It's actually really important, too, because I think even though he's doing 2 damage every time he does the +1 ability, the thing that he has to worry about is actually the ultimate.
Yes.
If the ultimate goes off, it's almost impossible.
Impossible for Alex to beat it, right? Even with not that many cards for Ben. And there's Hazoret the Fervent. If this resolves, well, Alex may have an answer for it in the form of Settle the Wreckage.
Right.
But you know what? Ben may not attack. No, he is going to attack and let it get settled. He certainly would be aware of that interaction.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I don't know what's in his hand, but it might have been better for him to just do nothing.
Yes, I was thinking he might. Oh, and there's Cast Out off the top for Alex Lloyd.
And that's actually why it would have been pretty good to not attack, because if Alex has his Cast Out, he's going to have to choose either to settle or to Cast Out, so his mana would have been tied up.
And it's more damage either way. And here it is, Ben Stark completely out of gas. He has Karizev on the battlefield. He does have Ramunap runes with 3 deserts, and he also has his secret tech Dunes of the Dead. Yep. But there's a Regal Caracal for Alex Lloyd.
That's going to be rough. So
the Cat Dad has arrived.
It's not looking great, though. Alex is now at 7. Ben has 2 deserts. So if he gets a lightning strike, technically he has the resources, though the cats are, for want of a better word, out of the bag. So they're going to gain some life back. It's a fatal push. Oh,
there's an opt.
It's an opt. I think Alex has a fatal push, so he may actually choose to fatal push the zombie so he can attack with his cats.
What is it going to take for Ben to win? He is going to take
Glorybringer, I think.
Damage here. Glorybringer to kill the cat?
Yeah, I think so. I think he needs to have a way of getting rid of some of the creatures and also pressuring. So I think Glorybringer is probably right. I don't think Chandra is very good right now. And I also don't think Hazoret is that great.
So Alex is going to attack with all of the cats, trade off one of them for a zombie, but gain 4 and go back to 11 while dealing 5 damage. This one is slipping away from Ben Stark very quickly, and Alex Lloyd seems to be solidifying his position and moving closer to that trophy. Soulscar Mage, not the power level of card that Ben Stark wants to find off the top of his library at this point.
Yeah, I really think that this is very, very close to over, even though that Ben's at 15.
He's taking big hits here. There's another 5.
And another 2 gain 2, which is...
Yeah. I mean, he's now switched the life totals to Alex is ahead on life.
It's probably the last turn for Glorybringer, and it may not be good enough because I think there's another settle in the wreckage. Okay.
Yes, this is moving ever closer, just 2 turns away now. Alex Lloyd attacks for 5, and if Ben doesn't find something on his turn, then Alex is going to get to just attack into Soulscar Mage and really force the issue. A lot of lands here for Alex. Ben Stark's going to use up his Ramunap Ruins to do 2. Does he find what he needs, or are we going to see Alex? Well, it's a land off the top. Is that a Glorybringer?
Yeah, I think part
of it resolves, and he's going to exert it on the Regal Caracal. So even if it were to die now to settle, he still takes out the Caracal, which is exactly what happens, by the way.
Okay, so
now this gets kind of interesting.
It is kind of interesting. The cat goes down to 1/1 now, can be blocked by the Soulscar Mage. So Ben is still in it, though.
I mean, it doesn't take much from Alex. We don't know how much gasoline he has left in the tank here, but you gotta feel like it benefits him at this point.
Yeah, I think it's time for Ben to draw a Chandra Tortured Defiance if he needs to come back in this game. I think that's the best card he could draw.
Okay, let's see if he can find something off the top of his library, because Alex once again just played a land and passed. Ben also just passing the turn back. Alex, another land off the top. He does seem to be flooding quite hard, perhaps leaving the window open for a miracle comeback from Ben Stark.
Yeah, it was an irrigated farmland, so it could have been another card. But
yeah, but he drew another Glacial Fortress.
It looks like he has nothing in his hand, so I'm surprised that Ben isn't actually throwing some land. I think the reason he isn't doing that is because he wants to keep the Scavenger Grounds just in case.
Ooh, there's Glorybringer off the top from Ben, though.
Is he going to exert it? This is actually really, really interesting. I actually think that the reason Ben didn't throw the Scavenger Grounds or the Ramunap Ruins is he wants to be able to remove the graveyards should Alex have a Torrential Gearhulk.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a game that I thought that Ben was dead to rights. He's kind of clawing back.
He is. Alex Lloyd has really flooded out a bit. And look at this. Ben's going for it. He's going to exert to kill the cat, but there's another Settle the Wreckage. So his hand was land, settle the wreckage. And once again, we're back to square one. But you know what? Alex has nothing in his hand either.
Yeah, so really it kind of comes down to whoever drops the first major pressure.
That's right.
Card.
Yeah, I mean, any expensive card from Alex here is good to go. Any card draw spell could easily propel him forward. He's just going to say land go this time, perhaps having drawn an opt. I couldn't quite see it. Let's see if Ben can come up with a threat. He drew a Bomat Courier for the turn.
Not the worst, actually, because
not at all.
It does represent more cards. So
yes,
if Alex bricks a couple draws.
Oh, it was Torrential Gearhulk, not opt.
I think.
Is that going to force Ben to use his Scavenger Gowns? I guess you can see what he...
No. The thing is, it's actually going to force him to use that because he's going to die to the...
Yeah. I'm just curious. Nope. And that is going to do it because Ben needed to find an answer for Torrential Gearhulk, a 5-power threat on the crackback. And Alex Lloyd is your champion here at Grand Prix Atlanta, defeating the tough opponent in Ben Stark with what looked like a pretty sweet matchup. And by the way, his deck is nice. I am a pretty big fan of this deck. That is going to do it for the finals here from Atlanta. We're going to bring him up. Hello, welcome back to the booth here at Grand Prix Atlanta. That's Ben Seck. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. Ben, anything stand out to you from that finals?
It really, really was kind of exciting finals in that one deck ran him over game one and the other deck ran over game two. But game three was a little bit back and forth, and there was a lot of top decks that were really important.
Yeah, and we saw, though, that the Regal Caracal, I mean, that honestly was the most important card because the first couple of plays of the game from Ben Stark were lightning strike your face, lightning strike your face. I mean, he was on the get you dead quickly plan, and the Caracal ended up gaining a ton of life back there.
Yeah, and there were a lot of like interesting attacks or no attacks that could have happened in that game. Alex actually happened to have multiple Settle the Wreckages, which really punished Ben kind of pushing through some damage. I'm not saying that Ben made a mistake. It's actually really hard to tell if it would have been good, but
You're talking about that Hazoret attack?
Yeah, the Hazoret attack, he might have been able to not attack, and then Hazoret would have been pretty good at like just pressuring him just by discarding cards. But, you know, Alex like pulled it out. It was a great match.
Okay, well, we're going to bring Alex in for his interview. Let me turn off your mic real quick. Thank you, Ben. And we'll bring him in right now. You can just push TBS down if you have to. All right, put that on. And then I'll turn your mic on once you get it on. And there we go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're our
Thank
champion.
you so much.
Wow, what a crazy match down the stretch.
Oh, man, yeah, the whole day.
So you sat down against the Hall of Famer, you know, one of the toughest players in the whole room, Ben Stark. What was going through your mind at the beginning of the match there?
I was actually more phased about the matchup than him himself.
What did you think
he's a
about
really
the matchup?
strong player, but I just felt, the whole top 8, playing against aggro deck after aggro deck, just like, oh, man.
but you felt okay with that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, your deck seemed like pretty well set up.
Well, I mean, I was on blue-white last weekend, just, in general, and this week we added the black just because, like, to shore up those aggro matches, and apparently paid off.
So you got the fatal pushes.
Yeah, fatal pushes.
A couple of Vraska's contempts on the board, that kind of stuff to shore up those matchups. Wow, it seemed to work well, and the deck really seemed to perform well. Are you pretty happy with, would you change anything about it?
I don't think I would necessarily change anything right away.
Because it looks sweet. I'm not going to lie. From here, I'm kind of like in love with this deck. So.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
A couple times the mana was a little clunky. Like sometimes, you wouldn't have your double blue, because like the deck needs double blue, double black, and double, double everything.
Yeah.
So it's it can be a little awkward like that. But like once you get past the first 4 or 5 turns, then you're good.
So your match against Trey Van Cleave.
Yes.
Like, I was trying to just keep up with you, and you're just like slamming bombs over and over. What was going on there? Unreal rips, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I didn't even add it to my hand and try and conceal like, oh yeah, I had it the whole time. Yeah, no, I'm just
I know you're like opt counter that.
Yeah,
you're like draw my card, fumigate.
Yeah.
It was impressive stuff. It was fun to watch. Okay, I got one more question for you here.
Sure.
What was your favorite memory of the weekend? Dippin' Dots equals results.
Yeah,
what in the world does that mean?
Yeah, so a couple of the Cloud Post crew guys, guys from Maine, I see them all the time at like local.
Now you're from New Hampshire?
I'm from New Hampshire, yeah, but like I travel to Maine, Vermont, whatever. It's pretty easy. We're all basically the same state. A couple of those guys, like one of them, Kyle, he was just preaching like. Every time he has Dippin' Dots, he wins, and got his friends to do it.
For it.
Yeah, and like everyone else, like, oh my god, I won! I had Dippin' Dots. So I'm like, all right, fine. And then like sitting here in top 8, and like Kyle goes, hey, give me some cash so I can get you some Dippin' Dots. You're about to have your quarters. You need Dippin' Dots. I'm like, sure, fine. And it worked. Dippin' Dots are a thing, I guess.
So we figured that out. Also, I'm supposed to ask you about Unstable Boot Camp.
Oh, yeah. So
what is that?
I made a couple weekends ago, right before the Pro Tour Salon, a couple of the guys who went, we just were in a lake house for the weekend. We just drafted.
Why didn't I get the invite for that? What's the...
I mean, you're welcome to go to the next one.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm in.
you're in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure Matt Bork would be fine
I like
with that.
lakes. I like drafting.
Yeah, it would be great. But I told my buddies, if I win this GP, I am going to buy a case of Unstable and
of the
unset, and we're just going to do the same thing, but with the young cards. Absolutely.
That sounds like pure nonsense. I will say that somebody should provide the Dippin' Dots as well, by way of celebration. And it should probably be you since you just won $10,000. Alex, congratulations,
Thank
man.
you so much.
Great work. And you are our champion. We'll see you at the Pro Tour.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
That's exciting stuff. So that's going to do it, of course, here from Atlanta. It was a fun weekend. Standard, still pretty cool at the moment. And we wanted to thank you for joining us. Of course, thank the judges and staff that helped make these things possible here from Star City Games in Atlanta. It was a fun ride. Thanks for coming along. We'll see you at the next one.